The extrinsic flood source uniformity test is typically performed in an on-call situation. It is less involved than the standard quality control test, but it does meet the standard for checking the uniformity of the camera prior to use. Extrinsic refers to the fact that the collimators or lenses are on the camera. The advantage of this test is that it allows us to test the electronics or the uniformity of the machine and also to check for collimator damage. Cobalt 57 is their preferred source as it provides a uniform gamma ray source similar in profile to technetium 99M. Each sheet of cobalt 57 impregnated plastic has a half-life of 272 days and needs replacing every 2 years. Move the camera heads in as close as they will go. This allows you to perform the test for both cameras at the same time with a single cobalt 57 sheet. Move the sheet source into position so that the entire detector area is uniformly covered by the cobalt 57 sheet. Once satisfied with the placement of the source, begin acquisition. The computer is already preset with the correct parameters. The acquisition process will continue until 5 million counts on each camera are reached. After the requisite number of detections have been reached, check the photo peak using a multi-channel analyzer. The analyzer deciphers the energy of the photons hitting the analyzer and is programmed to accept only certain energy levels and reject the rest. In our case, cobalt 57 has a gamma energy of 122 keV. Accordingly, the energy window on the analyzer is set to 122 keV with a 20% margin of error. Confirm that the photo peak is centered on 122 keV in the window of the analyzer. Once both cameras have acquired their images, they are displayed for comparison. Look for a uniform distribution of contrast and an even distribution of radioactivity. An artifact would appear as a bright or dark spot in the viewer, which would indicate a fault with either the cameras or the collimators. An inconsistency in the display would guide you to the nature of the problem. For example, if the collimators were damaged, you would see light areas where photons are blocked by the damaged sections. If the camera electronics were at fault, for example, the photomultiplier tubes, these would reveal themselves as a circular artifact following their shape. Once the acquisition is complete, remove the sheet source from the camera and replace in the lead-lined case. Sheet sources are about 10 millicuries when new, and while not too hot, should not be handled any more than is necessary. Even with both sources present at the same time, the exposure level is low enough to handle them without undue risk. Thus, although the extrinsic flood source test takes about 6 minutes, the low levels of radiation of the source allow them to be used for daily quality control with an acceptable level of exposure for the technical staff.